name is Dr. Ray, and I'm here to tell you about our podcast, Overcoming Dyslexia and Other Stigmas. We are here to have the tough and difficult conversation about being labeled special ed or have some form of a disability. My name again is Dr. Raylyn White.
And I am Pt.2. Be sure to tune in to us every first and third Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
We can be found on Clubhouse as of now, but please stay tuned to our social media pages, Overcoming Dyslexia and Other Stigmas.
Heritage Academy in San Antonio is now open for student registration. Our mission at Heritage Academy is to not only prepare students to succeed at college, but to instill values and knowledge, to educate the whole person, and to balance intellectual development with purposeful moral guidance. Smaller classes, personal attention, focusing on teaching life values. We're eager to welcome new students this fall. Register your student today at heritageacademy.net. Heritage Academy in San Antonio is now.
Hello. How are you, Dr. Ray? Hello.
I'm doing well. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode number 5 of Overcoming Dyslexia and Other Stigmas. I am Dr. Ray. I am here to help you navigate and overcome all the different stigmas that being labeled special ed or just having some form of a stigma. Our goal is to help you to become the best version of who you would like to be. I also help parents walk through the process of getting their kids tested and maneuvering through the system as they go through the education system, knowing the ins and outs and what they need to do in order for their student to become the best version of who they can and want to be. I am Dr. Ray. Over to you.
Wow. Oh my goodness. So amazing. We are on episode 5. So I am Pt.2. I am here to encourage and motivate you and inspire you. I am here to get you from good to great to unlocking your greatness. I am a dyslexic. I am here to help you navigate through dyslexia and other stigmas as I encourage, I uplift, I provide you the tools that you need to be successful in what you desire to do. To normalize your process is what I am called to do. I am called to give you all that you need and answer the questions to allow you to feel positive with who you are and who you desire to be. So this season on today, we have an amazing special guest. Her name is Evelyn Brokering, and she is here as a part of our part 2 conversation that we had on Clubhouse on episode 1. So she's not a stranger to Overcoming Dyslexia and Other Stigmas platform because she has been here before. So this particular episode, we're just going to be diving into more of who she is, the things that she is doing in her community, and the things that she has overcome to allow her to be where she's at today, right? So Evelyn, she was raised in Japan. She moved to the U.S. in 2015. In 2015 to finish high school because she was failing in the Japan school system, since dyslexia was and is still not recognized or understood in Japan. After relocating to America, she finally received the right accommodations that allow her to not just graduate, but to graduate with honors. So as I introduce Evelyn to our platform on today, please welcome her as she tells her story. Hello. Hi, Evelyn. Hi.
Hello. Thank you
Hi.
so much for having me, and it's such an honor to be on this podcast again.
Wow, that is so amazing. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Yeah.
That is great. Awesome. So as we move into the conversation today, as we know, we hear, people say dyslexia is a disability, but it is quite the opposite. It is considered as a nor what is it? A nor
Neurodiversity.
Neurodiversity or neurological
neurodiversity. Thank
disorder.
you. Yes, neurodiversity. So
Mhm.
I want you to kind of just go into that conversation. As we know, others know dyslexia has been a disability, but as we talk to you and as we do our research, it is considered to be something different. So go ahead with the answering the question, please.
Yeah, definitely. I think dyslexia is a gift and not a disability. I know it's categorized that still, but it is just how we use the brain differently. And Dr. Ray, please correct me if I'm wrong, but dyslexics tend to use the right brain more often, and it is the creative side. So that's why we tend to be more creative and think outside the box. And even Steve Jobs is a famous person who had dyslexia, and he even invented the iPhone, which we nobody knew that we needed. And he just thought outside the box, and he was able to change people's life forever. So definitely dyslexia is a gift, I say. And yeah, knowing a lot of creative people have dyslexia like made me think that dyslexia is not a disadvantage, it is an advantage. And just being in the school system is hard to think like that, but once you're out of the school system, you I think it's really easy for you to shine and to use your creative skills and yeah, gifts.
And what it is we process information on the left side of the brain. And being dyslexic, it goes to your right, but it still has to go to the left to get processed and it comes back. That's why it takes more time for a person with dyslexia to process
I
the
see.
answer. So if I ask you a question, the you think about it, instead of you processing it on your left, it goes to the right. Then well, you get it in the right, you go to the left to process it, and then it has to come back. So that's why you need the additional time to go through the steps so you can think about it, because your brain is switching from left to right all the time.
I see. That's really interesting, and I definitely need to learn more about the brain. And yeah, it's really fascinating. And yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
All right, Evelyn, can you, I know Kita explained that you were born in Japan and you
Mhm.
came to America. Can you please give our audience some of the background of the main reason why you came to America?
Yeah, so I was raised in Tokyo, Japan. I went to all Japanese speaking school up until high school, and high school is not mandatory. So if you fail, you kind of are kicked out of the system. And no matter how much I was studying, I was failing all my classes. And then I learned about this boarding high school in America where they give accommodations, they acknowledge dyslexia, because in Japan, when I told my school that I'm dyslexic, they're like, "What is that? That doesn't exist." Even though there's 1,800 students at my school, they said I'm the only one, which is totally not true. But they just didn't know about it, and they couldn't offer me any help. So I decided to move to California to finish my high school at a boarding high school in Ojai, where there were so many great teachers that supported me and gave me the right accommodations. And then I was able to graduate high school, and I was able to get into a great college, and I graduated within 4 years with also getting the help of accommodations. And yeah, so I'm really thankful that I'm here. And I know that not anybody can be like, oh, I want to go to America and get the proper education. So definitely I feel thankful, and I understand that I had the privilege to even come here. So yeah, so throughout my career, I want to give back by becoming the voice for people who are dyslexic or neurodivergent through product design, which I will touch on later. But yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. So, Evelyn, what are some of your advantages when it comes to dyslexia?
Yeah, so when I got diagnosed when I first arrived here in America, my neurologist told me that my visual intelligence is off the charts, which is in the 90th percentile. So I always was wondering, oh, what is my visual intelligence that she was talking about? So um, I first started as a film major and graduated with cinema, television arts, and I found digital product design really fascinating, and it's a really creative field which I can excel in, and yeah, design digital stuff to hand off to developers, and definitely I say I can excel in that. So that's why it's very important to make sure that people don't think it's something that's stupid or something negative, because we are very creative and not many people can do what I do. And yeah, it's really hard to see it in school, in the school system, when it's only just ABC grades. But yeah, I think we're definitely creative, and I'm sure Dr. Ray can touch up on that. But yeah, so I say I'm really thankful for the visual intelligence I have.
And that's the thing. The body does make up. If you are lacking in one thing, your body will like become over in something else. It's like a person who is blind, their hearing is super keen,
Mhm.
or if they're deaf, their vision is super keen. So the body comes up or makes adaptions that you would need in order for you to do what your purpose is in life. And as a mother of a dyslexic son, I knew that. And that's one reason why I kept him in sports and art,
Mhm.
the arts, because I knew he needed some motivation to be making them A's and B's, you know. So he was in special education. He did have the accommodations, but I knew he was GT in kinesiology or in kinesthetics. That's what I said. He was GT in kinesthetics, but they don't recognize that. So it's just like a little joke we say, because he knew, and he would never want me to get him tested for GT because they did not test for the creative side or the kinesthetic side. They only tested for the logical side. And so he knew he wouldn't be in it. And so we always say, oh, you GT in kinesthetics. Or so it's just, to me, like you said, the disability does not stop you. You can do whatever you want to do. Yeah, it may take a little longer because of that, but as long as you know how to handle the adaptations, what they teach you, and I don't know why the word is just out my head right now, the coping skills, and
Mhm.
you know how to use them to do what you need to do. And I truly believe that's what you have learned to do with not, using the coping skill. You found your passion, which is the arts, the digital, creating products, digital, what you call it again?
Yeah, digital product design.
See,
Yeah.
look at me, I got it. Digital, but see, you found your niche.
Hmm.
You found your niche, and from that, that's how you blossom. And that is, I think, the most important thing, is helping the dyslexic or whoever, whatever. Even if you don't have a disability, you have to find your niche. That is the most important thing. So when you find your niche, you have that passion, and that makes you want to learn and want to do more, because that's what you really want to do. So you were able to find your niche and just expand for it. I'm excited to hear about the digital product that you making, to see if I can make a contribution to it, and go from there. But I'm just excited to hear about it.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, text to speech tool technology is definitely something that helped me throughout to graduate high school and college too, and probably you too as well, and a lot of other people. So that's how I really got into accessibility and product design, because text to speech is just one of the assistive technology that we can use to cope with dyslexia, and a lot of school uses it. So I'm excited to be a more contribute more in that career
Right.
field. Yeah.
In Texas, we have made it text to speech um, an accommodation that is now just a common accommodation. So anyone could use text to speech
Oh,
now. See, since we are moving more to the kids being online than the
mhm.
pencil paper. When we were given the pencil paper, text to speech was me reading it, and we
Uh-huh.
wouldn't have had the manpower to do that. But now, since we're trying to move to 100% online, they have that accommodation, text to
Wow.
speech. Yes.
That's amazing. Yeah, definitely. It's not just dyslexics who benefited from, but text to speech is anybody would love audiobooks. So definitely, that's amazing to hear. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that is amazing to hear, which I did not even know that, Texas has made that an accommodation, because as we know, text to speech is so necessary for us as being dyslexics, Evelyn. So as we move into the conversation, we were talking about, you knowing like your passion, you knowing like exactly where you want to be, like, and that helps you to be able to have these conversations that you're having with us today. And so you kind of answered the question when it was like, what inspired you to go into the tech industry, and just hearing your story pushed you into the tech arena. So I don't know if you still wanted to elaborate on that, as we talk about the different things you're doing with tech, versus the career that you are in and the things that you're doing. Did you want to go ahead and elaborate, on all that you're doing in the tech industry to better help others like ourselves to achieve, the confidence, as being a dyslexic, and knowing that we're not what others may believe that we are? Because as just having this conversation with you, I mean, as a dyslexic, sometimes people feel like we can't comprehend, even though it may take us a little more time. But we excel in a lot of other areas where some people don't, because we are dyslexic. So yeah, talk to us a little more about all that you're doing in your tech industry.
Yeah, definitely. I always wanted to be in the creative field, and I was looking for how I can use the visual intelligence that she saw in me. And I learned about digital product design, and I learned that accessibility is very important when designing any digital product. And so everything came a full circle for me, since I am a user who benefited from digital accommodations in school. So it's like, oh, everything clicked. Why can't I be the one who's designing it? Because I know firsthand how dyslexics uses it a lot, and how I just think like the users have to be makers have to represent the users as well, in order to create that really good product that anybody can use, and accessibility. Yeah, so yeah, that's why I'm in this tech field and want to pursue digital accommodations in the future. It is a competitive field, and it is hard to just get in right off the bat. So I'm just building my career right now. And also, I'm creating a dyslexia support resources web app personally, just because I really want that come to life, and nothing like that exists currently on the market. So I'm designing a platform where it provides dyslexia user rated resources and dyslexia discussion board, just dedicated to dyslexia topics only. And also it provides accessibility tools to really find your ideal reading settings, and you can save them and test it out. And yeah, so that's what I'm trying to make, and on the side while I have my career going on. And yeah, I think a lot of people will benefit from it. And when I did a few user testing with people with dyslexia, and when I asked like how often would you think you would use this, and they said most of them said 10 out of 10, and they said I will use it every day. I have so many questions I still need to figure out. So definitely it is something that I think the world needs currently, and I'm excited. Hopefully it comes to life as soon as possible. But yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Well, I know you said that you've had people to use it and they gave you a 10 out of 10, which is awesome. Can you go into more detail about the platform? Like, where are you getting the resources from? And I know you're building it from the ground up. So, who are you going to help get the information that you're putting in the app?
Yeah, so this platform, it has user-rated resources such as assistive technology ranking, inspirational quotes from famous people who are dyslexics, reading clinic rankings, and movies related to dyslexia, websites, fun fact even. And I just want to make it user-rated, so it's not just giving out the resources, but having input like, oh, this really works, or you rank it by how users really like it the most, so people know what really works and not. And I think this will really, I wish I really had this back in Japan. I had no clue what to even look for to begin with, which clinic to go to, which school to go to. I was just so clueless. So with this, you can really see, oh, what's popular, what's not, and things like that. So just like a really deep dive in dyslexia resources in general, if that answers your question.
Wow. So now, just to stay on topic, so have you found any investors that is willing to, move your project along to get the visual that you hoping to gain from your web platform?
Yeah, right now I'm getting feedback for PR, and actually one developer who I user test who's also dyslexic, he said he will help me build it for free. And I need to work on making this come to life. Right now, I'm focusing more on the design of it and really perfecting how it will look, so I can show to investors like, hey, this is what I want to make come to life. And I know it takes time and money to make a digital product, but yeah, I think as I build this final design, I need to definitely put more effort into getting the resources and the funding to make this come to life. But it's just like my lifetime goal. I'm not trying to rush this, but it's just like my passion project that I really want to make this come to life, since uh, I think a lot of people would benefit. And I'm just trying to make something that I didn't have and I wish I had back in Japan.
Awesome. So the information that's on the platform, is it just limit to a certain city, a certain state? Like, will someone in Texas be able to use the platform?
Oh yes, ideally I want to make it worldwide eventually, but first I think starting it from English platform, and then maybe having, I know like changing the language on the platform apparently is not that hard, but first I think I will need to focus on English speaking countries and then go from there. Eventually, for sure, in Japan that will be needed. Yeah.
But will it be able, like you're in California, would I be able to use it in Texas?
Oh yes, the
That was
goal.
yeah. Well, with the information, will the information be able to transfer? Because you said something about a reading institution, reading institute, not institution, institute, and stuff like that. So will it be giving them information about reading institutes in Texas or just in California, or will they be all over the U.S.?
That's actually a really good input. I never really thought about it. Maybe having like a localized more in in just California, just Texas, what's really working, what's popular. Maybe that's a really good feature to have on on my website. So, yeah, thank you. That's I never really thought about it, but I think that's very important. Yeah,
Wow,
and
that's
also,
go ahead. Keep talking.
oh yeah, I was just gonna say, you can see the research and the design of this on my website. If you go to evelynbrokering.com, you can see what I've done so far, and yeah, just like a prototype of what I'm thinking of doing.
Wow, that is amazing. Um, so when it comes to your web based platform, so the information that you're providing to dyslexics, um, just so that I have like more clarity, is it information that you're providing to the to other dyslexics like ourselves on how to obtain resources that can better help us and where to go to obtain these resources?
Yeah, it's just a platform for to introduce the resources and user rated ranking way, so people would just can have access to the resources, if that makes sense. It's not really gonna suggest, oh, you need this, you need this. It's just to answer questions you may have, and it also has a discussion platform. You can post on it, oh, like what reading software is do you guys like the most, or questions like that you can ask in the discussion platform. And um, yeah, everything from advice to study tips to yeah, even sharing your dyslexia story.
Yeah. So it's not going to diagnose. It's just going
Yeah.
to give you resources that,
Mhm.
like a text to speech program, or if you need a thesaurus, or if you need da da da, this is the one you could find, and it's been rated by other dyslexics
Yes.
for, let's say, if there's a text to speech program by the Pratts, and it'll say out of 50 people, 50 said this was a good product. So
Mhm.
that's what is going to be, from what, am I right, from
Yes.
what
Yes,
I got,
that's
that it's just going to give suggestions, but the
yes.
products will be rated by other dyslexics
Yes.
so they can get.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of like thank you so much, Dr. Ray, for clarifying far as making it plain and simple. So yeah, that's where I was trying to ask, and I think that is so amazing to create a platform like that to better assist dyslexics, to help them to choose different softwares based on
Mhm.
other dyslexics like ourselves, that say, hey, this is a good product, and just give different their comments and questions based on how it works, what it hasn't done, and so on and such. So I think that is amazing. That is brilliant. So yeah, so pretty much I guess we'll move right along. Unless you have something else on that, Evelyn, you can go ahead and speak.
That yeah, that pretty much sums it up, and I really hope this comes to life as soon as possible so I can help as many people as possible. And yeah, I'm really excited, and it's my passion project. So yeah, and you can also always look on my website to get more information about it if you want to participate in user testing and things like that. So yeah.
Absolutely. I would definitely go to your website to give you another person to test your website out. So I love that. So let me ask you this, because you are from Japan, have
Mhm.
you communicated or do you affiliate with others that's from your native country regarding being dyslexic?
Yeah, I actually been on a few podcasts on Clubhouse that was based in Japan, and they're open about dyslexic topics. And I said a few words, but it seems like it is pretty much the same as I left, where a lot of people are not really aware of it still. But apparently the law is changing. But even though the law is changing, the community is not really following it, it seems like. But there are organizations that are popping up that are supportive, and I'm really glad to hear that. But definitely people are saying like it's 20 years behind. Like Japan in general is like 20 years behind in education compared to America. So there's a lot of work to be done. So by providing this web platform, you don't really need that. Like it doesn't matter if the law doesn't recognize you or not. If a student in Japan goes to my website, they can just get the resources, and they don't really need to go through the school to get the proper tools. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to contribute to my country by doing this, and hopefully it will help out people. Yeah.
But one thing, Evelyn, I know you're saying that they wouldn't have to connect with the school if they use your platform, but in a
Mhm.
way they would, because if they go to college, the accommodations that they need, they're not getting in high school, they
Mhm.
won't get them in college.
Mhm.
So the website is good, but they need the accommodations on top of that in order for them to be given the it levels the playing field. So remember when you said when you came and you received the
Mhm.
accommodations help. So it's very important that they get the accommodations. So if people in Japan, and I don't know how your political system is, if the school is not, then the parents need to start going to the people who manage the schools, who give them the funding to let them know that that's not right for their kid. And it's not like you're asking them to give them a whole different school. Only thing you're asking is if they have a test, can they have some additional time?
Mhm.
Or it's very minor. And if the laws have changed and the schools have not caught up to the laws, then that's up to the people to make sure that the schools catch up to the laws.
Yes, it's a very hard situation because just Japan in general, like the people don't want to be different. They don't want to,
What? Right.
and it's we have it here in America as well, but in Japan it's like so much more intense, the cultural wise, and just being open about that. And I think it starts from public figures coming out. Um,
Hmm.
there's very few famous people that are open about their dyslexic, and but in America there's so many, and it just I think that really kind of helps in a way. So just starting that conversation is important, but definitely I mean I don't know much about the Japanese law since I moved, but yeah, I think it will be a tough, yeah, it will be a tough ride to like really fix it how it is in America. It will take a long time, I believe. So yeah, for my contribution, just like providing the resources, and I really hope the laws in schools catch up to how it is in America. But yeah, it's just kind of a sad situation in a way, but I'm thankful that I'm here.
Wow. So now, as we continue about your passion project, what do your family members think of your passion project, based on the information you are wanting to share, with being open about your dyslexic? And now, me saying that, what do your family think about you just being this open about your dyslexic journey, knowing that it is not really you, like you said, understand or recognize as much as it is here in America? So, like, how do your family feel about you being this open and transparent about this?
Yeah, when I first got diagnosed in Japan, it was from a college graduate because there were any clinics that even I can go get tested for. And when I got officially diagnosed by the graduate students in Japan, my parents just told me to kind of shut up about it and don't talk about my dyslexia because it's not recognized, and they thought I was gonna get bullied, which is it could have happened, but I had this huge secret that I kind of had to hide from my friends. Even I couldn't even tell anybody, but at one point school was getting very hard, so I told my school and my teachers, but unfortunately they didn't know anything about it, and they're just like, oh well, you're the only person we never heard about it. So yeah, it was just that. But for a long time I had to be hiding it a secret, making it a secret, and because it wasn't something that was positive. But I knew I wasn't stupid because there are a lot of American successful people that are open about their dyslexia. So I knew it wasn't something to be ashamed of, but it was very hard growing up in that situation. But soon as I left Japan, my boarding school was very understanding, and a lot of other students who had dyslexia too, so I didn't feel alone, and I started to embrace it, and now here I am talking about it on a podcast. So yeah, like 10 years ago I would have never would have thought I would come this far. I was, yeah, just very so scared that somebody would even recognize that I have dyslexia because my parents told me I'll get bullied for it. So definitely, if there's a parent watching right now, like, don't ever tell your student kids that, because that's not the way to do it. I think that really kind of made it harder on me. So definitely don't tell your kids that you're going to get bullied for it. You won't. I mean, if they do, honestly, just move schools. But yeah, so I'm proud of it right now, but definitely it was something that I needed to keep it a secret for a long time.
Wow, that is sad, but the reality of it. And there are, even in America, a lot of parents that are not willing to have their child tested
Hmm.
because they don't want them to have and they call it a label. It's not a label, it's something to help you um, become a better version of who you want to be.
Hmm.
So it is. I tell of a parent to this day who still won't allow us to test her son, and because she doesn't want him to be labeled special education. And we
Uh-huh.
see that this kid needs the help, and
Hmm.
we're telling the mom, we're begging the mom, even if you deny services, at least let us test him so you will know what the problem is. So
Yeah.
it is not just in Japan, it's here in America, where we do have the freedom and the accommodations to help kids, but
Hmm.
we still have those parents who are not willing to accept that my child needs this. We're not saying that your child is different than any other child. We're not saying that there's something wrong with them. They just need this additional accommodation.
Hmm.
Text to speech. So if they need the text read to them, in instead of them reading the test themselves. Okay, we can do that.
Yeah.
Or if they need to give a verbal answer instead of writing the answer because they may have dysgraphia where the writing gets mixed up. So there parents in America, Evelyn, that still has an issue with having their child tested and labeled, diagnosed, not labeled, diagnosed with a disability because they don't want people to know, or they don't want the kid to know. But in the long run, they're doing more harm than good to the kid because all these coping skills, mechanism, these resources that are out there that they have, it's a plethora of resources, but they're out there, but the kid doesn't have access.
Yeah, that
So
is very sad. And just even getting, is it free to get diagnosed at your school, or
to get tested,
yeah,
yes,
for to get,
yes,
wow, that's
yes.
that's amazing, because I believe my testing was around $5,000. I recently learned about this, but I didn't know it was that expensive, and it just to not everybody has that money to like
Well,
put in testing. And
it's free. Let me rephrase, because really it's not free, because we have to pay the people to do it. But because there are monies that is given by the federal and the state government for it, that's why it's free to the parent and free to the student. But we receive the funding in order to do it, because we still have to pay the person, the LSSP that tests them, and buy the program that we use and stuff like that. So there's a cost somewhere, but it's free for the parent, as long as the parent goes to the whatever school. Now, if it's a private school, now that may be a different story. A private school may not be able to test them for free, because it's a private school and they don't receive the funding. But a public school and a public charter school, it is free. And the parents just need to request it, or the teacher can request it, or anyone from the school can request it.
wow, that's amazing, and that's such a privilege as Americans to have, since in Japan that doesn't exist at all whatsoever. So definitely take advantage of that for any parents. That's just gonna benefit the child. Like, I don't know, why wouldn't you? It's like sooner the better, and yeah.
And that's what we try to tell them. The earlier, in here in San Antonio, our mayor has started a pre-K for SA. And the reason why he did that was to help the students before pre-K, so age of 3, to get the accessibility to schools in order to help with reading skills. So when they start pre-K, they're not that far behind. No Child Left Behind, Child Find. There are so many different laws and resources that we have here. And they don't even have to be 3. If a child lives in Texas, I can speak for Texas, and the child has a disability, all they have to do is take the child to the elementary school. In one of my previous lives, we were servicing a newborn baby that had an eye disorder. And so the newborn was not school age, but because they lived in our district, we had to service that child. And it was a newborn baby. So the resources are not just for school age kids. And because we're trying to help the ones who would have the deficiencies or lacking the skills in kindergarten, if we can catch them earlier, that's what we're trying to do now. And that is through what we call Child Find. And the only thing the parent will need to do is to take the kid to the elementary school where they live if the child is below school age. Matter of fact, my oldest son was tested at the age of 3. And I just took him to the elementary school down the street from our house. And he was going to a private school, but because my tax dollars was going to that elementary school, that's why they had to test him.
Test him for dyslexia?
Well, they just test him overall, because I knew something was wrong, didn't know what it was. And they tested him. They listed that. And I paid, his dad and I paid for him to get tested from a psychologist as well. So, but the school had to test him for special education, although he was in private school. Our tax dollars went to that school, so the elementary school had to test him for.
Wow, that's amazing resource. I wish I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't only imagine if I got diagnosed at 3 compared to 16. That's just a huge difference. I could get a better like head start on everything.
But one thing you have to remember, Evelyn, if you did not go through that struggle, you would not have the passion that you have now,
Mhm.
and that your resource app may not even be an idea,
Mhm.
or it may not even be your passion project because you didn't have to go through what you went through. So, one thing I always tell people when they have their testimony, everyone wants a testimony, but they don't want a test. That was your test. And you use your test for your testimony, which what you're doing now. But from that testimony, you have an awesome opportunity to help others through what you have learned.
Mhm.
But you wouldn't have had that if you didn't go through that test.
Definitely. Yes.
Wow. Oh my God. This podcast, this episode is so good. Evelyn, you have been so amazing. Let me ask you this. Where do your confidence stem from? All that you come through being in Japan and coming to the States, knowing that it was, dyslexia was something you had to hide, something you had to be quiet about, something that it was like a family secret for you not to unleash to others, to possibly make your family look, not good enough for others. So you coming to the States, what gave you, or who, or what outlet did you, endure to obtain the confidence to be boldly standing before us and others to tell your dyslexic story, your journey to be? So yeah, can you elaborate on that?
Honestly, thinking back to it, I think it's really the boarding high school that I went to, like right off when I was in Japan. It was just like a complete turn of my environment and how the teachers treated me and acknowledged me, and the teachers at the boarding school, like they all thought I was brilliant, and nobody shamed me for anything. And I think that really helped me become positive and really um yeah, I guess really open about it now, because I c- yeah, I'm trying to think how that is a really good question. I'm trying to, because in Japan this was not me at all, and I think the environment, how it changed, definitely is the reason how I'm brave about opening up. And what's really at this point, I think it's like what there's nothing to lose about sharing my story and how I was able to succeed here in the education system. And it's just I just want to share my story, because if somebody is in my shoes, like how I was stuck in Japan, they can say, oh, this is not the only solution. There are other countries and there are other people and teachers and schools that really would understand you and wouldn't think that you're stupid or you're just the kid that always fails everything. Like, so definitely the environment and the school, I was very lucky that I was able to come here. And yeah, I'm very thankful that I was able to go to that school.
Who did the research to find the boarding school?
Actually, that was just a coincidence. I toured the boarding high school just to maybe go for a summer camp or something, and we got a tour and we heard that there's a learning center and there's a lot of people who need accommodations, and it's just a really small boarding school that really give attention to a lot of just it's like around 100 people, and my graduating class was around like 20. So it was a very, very small school and a lot of
Mhm.
compared to teachers. So definitely I got the help and attention I needed at the time. And yeah, so.
Okay. But okay. I know she gonna say she is so humble. And I'm like, I need for her to see that inner strength in her. You were the one who found that boarding school, correct?
My uncle actually knew about it. And
your uncle knew about it. So how did the conversation come up? Did you ask him about it, or
to my uncle?
Yeah.
Oh, he always knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's my dad's brother, and he always knew
Mm-hmm.
about it. And we just toured the boarding school thinking maybe I will go for summer school. And yeah, and as soon as I got the tour, I just left. 3 months later, I just moved here. So I was just, this is it. Like, I didn't think twice. I was just, this is my answer, because at the time I was just feeling horribly in Japan. So it was like no other option for me. And luckily I had, my family was able to support me on this. And I'm very, thankful for that.
Yeah. But I also want you to give yourself the credit, because you were the one who had to do all of the work.
Yes, thank you.
So yes, the border school did this and this person did that, but you had to do the work in order to get you where you are today. So they gave you a hand. Yes, we're not going to take that away from them. But what I need for you to do is to give yourself the credit of doing the work and having the fortitude to continue to fight for yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely I put in extra hours to studying and even the training to get my reading skills from 2nd grade to 12th grade. I did 3 months intense training, and that was difficult, but yeah, I was managed to do it. And
oh my goodness, wow, you have the strength and the confidence now to move mountains, to do whatever your heart desire based on some of the accommodations that you have been afforded when you came to the States. And that is amazing in itself, that the tools that you have, you're able to kind of share your resources with others and give them the confidence and the strength that they desire to have, like yourself. And especially you being from another country, it allows others from your country to see you and know that, hey, if Evelyn can do it and she's from here, then I can do it too. So I love how you stand in your truth unapologetically, that, hey, I am dyslexic. And, it may take me a little more effort to get something done. But when I have my mind focused on something, I get it done. And that is amazing, to have that type of strength within you. As we move towards the closing of this episode, which has been so amazing, and that your story, I hope that those that's listening on today will be inspired by your story, will be motivated to allow their child to be able to stand in their truth from your country and other countries around the world, and knowing that stunning their growth with giving them non-encouraging words by hiding something, being quiet about it, and like putting that stigma on a child so early. We develop different things as we become adults, and not feeling confident because what was placed in us as being youth. So I just hope that other parents will see and hear your story and realize that encouraging their child, uplifting their child, giving their child the resources. And if they can't find them, go to their local school, their local library, and get the tools and the information they need so that their child can be successful as yourself. So that being said, what inspirational words and advice you can offer to other dyslexics who may be failing in school and having a tough time with, with who they are as a dyslexic?
Yeah, honestly, I love what you said so far. I agree to everything. And I would like to say that if you're struggling in school right now, like I was stuck in Japan with no resources, no acknowledgement, and no help, I would say, like, don't worry too much, because at the end of the day, the school grades are doesn't define you whatsoever. If you get a B, you're not a B. And once you're out of the school system, your intelligence is gonna shine, and you just gotta find that. And my advice is to really find what you're really good at, your visual intelligence, what you're really gifted, and you just gotta embrace it. And for dyslexic, I think embracing your dyslexia is the only way to overcome the obstacles. And yeah, just find that thing that you're really good at. And there's so many creative fields like what I do, like digital product design is a new career field, but it's very creative, and I'm really doing good in it. So I say, yeah, just find a creative field and you'll be okay, and don't worry too much in school. Yeah.
Wow. Well, Evelyn, it has been amazing, as I keep saying. As we close out this episode, this podcast, I, ask folks today to go visit your website, to become a part of the testing, to make your passion project come to fruition, as it is so necessary that we need more resources to assist us dyslexics to become successful in our future in what we desire to do. So is there anything else you want to share before we close out on this evening?
Yeah, thank you for the shout out. I would really appreciate if more input, the better. I think especially dyslexia is on a spectrum, and not everybody has the same needs as me. So if I get more people to participate on the user testing, so I can make the best resources platform possible, that'll just be amazing, and I'll feel very happy about it. So yeah, just go to my website, evelynbrokering.com, and you can reach me there. And yeah, I will love any input. And thank you so much for having me. And I really appreciate what you all do. And I was honored to be here today.
Wow. Well, thank you again. So, pretty much everyone, thank you again for joining us on our second season, fifth episode with our special guest, Evelyn, on today. She had really gave us some encouragement. She is giving us some resources. She's giving us information. I mean, she's encouraging and uplifting other dyslexics. And I hope that you gain something from her story today to be able to share with your community, your children, and others like herself and myself. As you know, I am one of your co-hosts, Pt.2, and I am here to encourage and motivate and inspire you as a dyslexic to bring the resources that you are looking for based on the information and the confidence to allow you to stand in your truth and your boldness. I am here because I desire to be here to be able to normalize your process to get you from good to great to unlocking your greatness. As we close on this evening, we want to thank you so much again for being here on today. As I pass it over to my co-host, I say thank you again.
And I am Dr. Ray. It has been an honor and pleasure to share this platform with you, Evelyn. My goal here is just to help people to become the best version of themselves, knowing that with any type of disability or any type of obstacle. It's up to you to decide on who you want to be. Remember, until next time, to be blessed and a blessing. My name is Dr. Ray, and I'm here to tell you about our podcast, Overcoming Dyslexia and Other Stigmas. We are here to have the tough and difficult conversation about being labeled special ed or have some form of a disability. My name again is Dr. Raylyn White.
And I am Pt.2. Pratt. Be sure to tune in to us every first and third Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time.
We can be found on Clubhouse as of now, but please stay tuned to our social media pages, Overcoming Dyslexia and Other Stigmas.
Heritage Academy in San Antonio is now open for student registration. Our mission at Heritage Academy is to not only prepare students to succeed at college, but to instill values and knowledge, to educate the whole person, and to balance intellectual development with purposeful moral guidance. Smaller classes, personal attention, focusing on teaching life values. We're eager to welcome new students this fall. Register your student today at